I think I'm the only one on this podcast who invaded it and was wearing the right attire, all black, because it's a very sad time. It's a very sad time to Arsenal fans. We are grieving for you.
No matter the scoreline, you guys will defend your team like it's the Champions League final, even if maybe you haven't seen one for a while, and that's loyalty.
Hey, it's time to head up.
Confused because like Man U at that moment in time we were swimming with like a chain on our foot and a weight just dragging us down. Just here.
Be more of that
We're
bass.
here.
Yeah.
But we were struggling.
Okay, stop.
It's time to head up.
Welcome, Gunners from around the world. Unfortunately, today we have two invaders, two sabotage, clandestine fans who have decided to crash this funeral. H-Dub and I have decided to meet and discuss Arsenal's season. H, how do you feel about the fact that we have these two Man United fans on the call today, man?
You know what? It's not bad. I think it will make things interesting. I think that both teams are great English sides. You know, that's the only compliment I'm going to give to Man United is at the beginning is because of the history. They've made us suffer a lot during our recent past. Taken Robin van Persie, also embarrassed us 8-2. You know, a lot of memories that hit the heart quite bad. But you know, looking at where they are now and looking at what they're doing, I think no one can really understand, and I think we'll get into that a bit because it's been a bit strange for Manchester United. But it's always nice to have some diversity, Fabio. I think for the podcast, it's nice to have a few rival fans in some episodes, keeping us humble, as Erling Haaland says.
Indeed, huh?
Exactly, keeping us humble, as Norwegian Giant once said, and here we are. You know, we are. At least both teams can agree that we don't like Manchester City. So, you know, that's something.
Yes.
Yeah, at least.
Yes, and Liverpool.
But
so
we also
cool.
today have the opposite of a Norwegian giant. We have Alex Fallas, aka the Doctor. I think this guy is probably 1/4 of Alan's size, and he's here, man, to give us the good news, huh? Fallas, what's up, man? How are you? And what brought you here today?
Thanks, Fabio. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me onto the podcast.
No, you weren't invited, man. No. Let's get it.
Okay, so guys, I'm gate crashing your Arsenal podcast, and thank you very much for your intro, H-Dub. I think from my side, I just want to say that it is an honor to be amongst you Arsenal fans. I respect you guys. You probably have a loyalty quality that is unrivaled in the world of football, because no matter the scoreline, you know, you guys will defend your team like it's the Champions League final, even if maybe you haven't seen one for a while, and that's loyalty. So thank you for having me here.
It's like rubbing
That's why
salt
we call him
into
the doctor. That's why we call him the doctor. Diagnoses people.
And then moving across the other side of the continent, we got today someone calling us from Ghana. Mr. Jesse Manningue, what's up? But Jesse, I'm confused, man. You're from Burundi, you have Swazi passport, you're living in Ghana. What's going on, man?
I'm the child of the world. I'm not limited to one country. Yes, I was born in Burundi, but I'm from Mozambique, Swaziland, South Africa, and the world. Now in Ghana. So
you're a true African.
That's right. Thank you. So I said child of the world. No, it's Africa. It's Africa. Sorry.
Yeah, the world too, man.
Okay, that's
Best continent in the world, Africa.
so on my
Agreed.
I think I'm the only one on this podcast who invaded it and was wearing the right attire. So I decided to actually wear all black because it's a very sad time. It's a very sad time for the people that were speaking to Arsenal fans. We are grieving for you because really there was a lot of hope at the beginning and it just did not necessarily get there. Like a lot of things in your lives, you know, are supported.
Yeah.
But all I'm trying to say, I will love and continue with this thing. On my side, there's not going to be any technical input. No, what the technicality? I know shit, but I'm here to shit on you guys and make sure we shit together.
Listen, don't worry. We know you definitely don't know anything technical because you guys are in like 16th place or 17th. I don't even know. So I think me and you, we can maybe start talking the good football, and then we'll see what these villains have to contribute.
I actually wanted to flip it, Fabi, if you don't mind. I actually
Okay.
wanted to ask. I mean, you know, we should always start with the easy things. You know, as they say, you know, when you're tackling something hard, you should always start with the easy things. So I just want to ask the Man United fans, like, how are you guys feeling about, you know, the state of your club right now? I mean, let me make it easier. Ruben Amorim, your manager. Honestly, I think maybe the original plan was for him to come in next season, but he obviously started, you know, during difficult circumstances, I must be honest. You know, Ten Hag getting the chop, which we all saw that coming, really.
Yeah.
I wanted
but-
Ten Hag to stay, man.
We all did. Well, that was my favorite manager, bro.
No,
That
us
was
not.
my favorite manager. Sheesh, I love Ten Hag. Loved him. Won you trophies, huh? Won you trophies. Anyways, what I was saying was Ten Hag left. Ruben Amorim, you know, honestly, I rate him as a manager. I think he's a very good manager. He's done amazing work at Sporting Lisbon. And I just think that, you know, Man United really is, you know, excuse my French, but it's a shit show. I mean, we here, we're chatting, we're having a conversation. And look, I'm just looking at it as someone that's like a football fan. I am an Arsenal fan, but I'm also a football fan. You know, I follow different leagues, you know, different teams, the business side of things. Fabio's also taught me a few things about that as well. And I think that looking at the way that Arsenal kind of like, we were in a rut as well. Like, we were at a point where Unai Emery wasn't getting results. We were performing badly. You know, we did bad in the Europa League Final. And we'll talk about your Europa League Final in a bit. But, you know, it took balls from the board, the Arsenal board, to actually go, you know what, we're going to take a punt on this rookie manager. We're going to kick out Emery, who's won Europa Leagues, who's managed PSG, and we want the Arsenal DNA. You know, we're going to flip this club from top to bottom. Rivals, pundits, etc. might laugh at us, but this is what we have to do. And I just want to ask you guys, from a Man United point of view, does it feel that you guys have to do something similar? And is Ruben Amorim the right guy for you guys to kind of be like, all right, we're going to lose. We're in 17th place or wherever that may be. I don't know, close to relegation zone. But we need to just get behind this guy, believe in what he's going to do, and not just sack him after next season if he doesn't do well.
So can I start, Alex? Can I start before I give it to you?
Go ahead.
So first of all, HW, like the way you came across this question really was like a little bit of a mindfuck, because you actually started in a very professional manner, and I thought I could engage with you. There were jabs. Like I was just like, I was trying to move, but like it got.
Come in peace. I come in peace, brother.
I don't. This
On
is
the-
war.
Yes, on the technical side, that's my contribution. Alex, come in, my boy.
The doctor, what's your analysis, man? What is your diagnosis? Because you guys are sick, man.
Yeah,
concerned.
okay. So to answer your question directly, yes, I do think Amorim is the right guy for the job. He's got the right passion, he's got the right affinity for the club's culture. He's young, and I think if he gets the players to play his system the way he envisions it, we're going to start seeing results, because we have seen little glimpses of that. Look, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but this last game against West Ham, for example, we lost 2-0. And then I looked up the stats. United dominated every stat except red cards, because there were none, and goals, which is kind of important. But I think as the players start adapting to his style, and he gets the right players for that, we're going to start seeing results. The position that United is in on the Premier League is brutal. It's painful, you know. I think the only reason we're not in the relegation zone is because the three at the bottom were like really horrible. Otherwise, we'd be screwed. But yeah, look, on a slightly longer term, looking past Ten Hag, Manchester United has professional world-class managers, from even David Moyes, but he is probably the least of the lot. Van Gaal, Mourinho, even Ten Hag. These are Champions League winners. These are top of the top. and United haven't stopped going down. So the problem is not the manager. I think the problem is no. Look, it's not the manager. It's not even the players. I think there's some other stuff going on in the background because it makes no sense. That's my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I think it helps any football club to have. I totally agree with you, Dr. Alex, 100% what you just said. I think when you look at football clubs and what's happening now in the state of football, where you're having owners that are coming in really to just, it's like almost like it's just like rich boys club, and you've got to have a football club to add to your portfolio,
Yeah.
and that's practically it. Where I guess like in the 90s, some fans would also have ownership of clubs. You would have local businessmen who would get other businessmen come together, create a consortium and buy a particular club, but then they're also fans of that club. And
Right.
these days you're getting owners that are very much about, status, and very much about, how much can I make here? And also what is my overall portfolio going to be like, so I can get another introduction into some other investment and some other investment and so forth. It's
Yeah.
like that love for the game for me as a fan of football has kind of died down a lot. And I feel that way as well about the Premier League in general, that it really is talking about money-making machine. You look at all those clubs there and how much money that they make off TV rights and et cetera, et cetera. Like it really has become a money-making machine. Looking at, Man U, I look at the owners, I'm like, do these owners really love the club like the fans do?
Thank you.
It doesn't seem like it to me. And I feel the same way even about like Arsenal as well. I feel the same way about Arsenal. Like I look at our owners, and yes, they've got full control now, but they have a franchise of different sports teams across different, types of sports, especially in the States and so forth. And do they look at Arsenal as another cash cow or part of their portfolio in clubs that they own?
Yeah.
So it's I get it. It's tricky. It's tricky business. Sorry, Fabi, you were gonna
No.
say something.
I'm hearing you guys. I was thinking specifically, so like Man United, you guys know the new owner, Jim Radcliffe. He
Yeah.
owns a club here in France. And the club, actually, like when I arrived in France, I was kind of supporting that club and following them. And the club is like quite mediocre because, like, I don't know, they are like more business people. But apparently he's a Man United fan. So I thought maybe now he's coming to Man United to really push. The American owners of Man United have owned Man United since I think 2004, 2003, 5, around there. No?
It was like
The
2000.
Glazers.
The Glazers came in like what, 2005 or 6?
Exactly.
Maybe even later than that.
And they're miserable. They're terrible. To be honest,
Yeah.
they don't even care about sport. They're even worse than most of. It's not even ego. They're there just to milk you guys. Like they're really making money.
Yeah.
Jesse and my friends who are the big fans, who are like from Ghana, going crazy there for Man United, buying jerseys, drinking beer. Those guys are just making money off you, homie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the mistake you guys can make is football is not rational, man. And these guys, these owners, when they come in, they think it's like about I don't know, but football is about passion, I think, and I think they're like missing this. I don't know. Jesse,
Thank you.
with you and football, man, how do you feel? Do you feel like football is still like the exciting, or has it changed?
I think from my side, there has been a little bit of a disconnect. You see, Alex has been consistent being a Man U fan. On my end, I think I lost it. The only thing that's actually getting me back is the likes of like Lamine.
Yeah, Yamal. Huh?
It's brilliance of that caliber that excite me, because you look at a person, for example, like Mbappe, and you see how it's always been about his potential, but have we seen him great? We have seen like almost clips, France, Argentina, finals, doing great things, but he hasn't fulfilled and I see a guy that young coming through and is reminding me of the greats of like Ronaldinho, Messi, and that's getting me back into it. But I actually got to a point where with the Man U, I had fully disconnected, unfortunately, and I did not understand from...
Listen, for your happiness, I think it's fortunately that you're disconnected.
So, and the thing is this, I sit back and I'm like, in the Premier League, the person that really fascinated me, like in between Pep and Klopp, Klopp, like, he blew my mind.
Yeah, I
It
love
was
him too.
how he was
Yeah.
able to bring in passion, strategy, and he got the buy-in from the bloody whole Liverpool fans,
Yeah.
players, management. Like, the things were running. So it's like when that was happening, I started like getting confused because like Man U at that moment in time we were swimming with like a chain on our foot and a weight just dragging us down. Just here. We're here. But we're
Okay,
struggling.
stop. Just
Sorry.
hold. Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So that has been my experience with football. I feel like it's been sprouts of like the World Cup was mind blowing. Now with Barcelona versus Inter, mind blowing. Small aspects. Barcelona, Real Madrid was exciting first half, but then like it just died down. But like it's small things of that caliber. But I want to go back into loving football.
Did you guys watch Arsenal Real Madrid?
Yes, I did.
Jesse, what did you think of Arsenal, man, when we played against Real Madrid?
So the thing about Arsenal with Real Madrid, I think there was a level of urgency and the thing, it's urgency and hunger that I hadn't seen in a while. You understand? And the thing is, after they've killed a person like a team, a giant like Madrid, I thought that sense of that continuity was going to actually fold over when they play PSG.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I'm like, when they put PSG, I actually was supporting you guys because I was sitting there and I'm like, I want you guys to win. But
Man.
everything about the body language to just that level of urgency, it was all gone. It's almost like they won the UCL after beating Madrid. And it's like, how, fam?
Bro, man, I must say it's powerful because you got us, bruh. Like, I must say, like, everything you're saying is the truth. We watch like every Arsenal game. This season has been tough.
Yeah.
It's been bad, man.
I
It's
just
been
want it to
so
end, man.
Yeah, man.
I just
And
want it
then
to end.
that Real Madrid game, that first match when we played them at home and we beat them 3-0, I was like, this team is incredible. I was like on cloud, like we are hungry, urgent, playing, pushing. You're right. After we beat Madrid, guys, I was like, ask HC, I was telling them like I was hustling to buy tickets to go to Paris, to go watch Paris Saint-Germain, Arsenal. Man, I was messaging old colleagues. I'm like, bro, just like get me the tickets. I'm like freaking making plans where I even had accommodation sorted. Like I was going crazy. Then that first leg, yeah, we're back to the same Arsenal, man. It's like there was no hunger, like you're saying. And we played so, I don't know, man. I don't understand because like, I feel like this season, the only thing that's keeping me happy about Arsenal's season is seeing how bad Man United's season has been in Tottenham, if I'm honest.
And Spurs, yeah.
It's big of you that you're supporting us. I must say, I'm also kind of supporting Man United for the Europa League final, just because we can't have Tottenham winning a trophy. But
Yeah, I'm actually with you guys. I'm actually with you there.
Yeah.
Right? Although your legends are talking shit about Arsenal, I'm still like,
Yeah, man.
okay.
Evra, guys, every chance. It's not just there in English, in French. This guy, he loves
He's just
killing me,
hitting.
man.
Listen, you know what? I don't know whether I should be happy or see it as a good thing or a bad thing that Arsenal fans are backing Man United. That's when I know that the world has changed. Because, look, okay, hold on. So, here's what I want to say. And we're having a nice civil discussion here, which I appreciate. But I just
For
want to
now.
bring up that this season, not the season, this period of the last 10 years has been the worst Manchester United team. And it keeps getting worse. However, we still won an FA Cup last season, as shit as we were. And this season, we're going to win the Europa League. Good chance. So if we win this, no, let me not say if. In the last 10 years, United have won 5 major trophies as their worst period in history. And I think Arsenal
so
have
FA
won
Cup
4.
is a major trophy now, huh?
FA
When Arsenal win it, when Arsenal win it, rival fans say otherwise. But anyways,
No.
It's a
Listen,
huge trophy, huh? I agree.
Arsenal have won 4 FA Cups in the last 10 years. That is good.
Exactly.
United,
3 of them were with Arsene Wenger.
Come on, man. I'm trying to back you up here, okay? But still,
This is right, but
Arsenal is
this
kind
is
of
a full-
consistent with that. Arsenal is kind of consistent with that. They're great at being in the top four. They're great at almost reaching the final. And United, in their worst period, still wins more trophies.
You
It's
see,
tough.
this guy says civil,
But-
then he starts saying this. Huh? Okay.
So you know what? It depends how. If I look at it, and if I look at things from a fan level, I
Okay.
agree with you, Alex. That trophies is, as a fan of Arsenal, I want to see them win more and more trophies. So I'm sure, as a fan, you're a fan of Man United. I'm sure that, you want to see them win trophies.
Yes.
100%, 100%. I look at things from when Arsenal was winning those FA Cups, of course I was happy. But for me, there's only two trophies that set you apart. It's either being the best in England and the best in Europe. That's if you're a Premier League club.
But H, are you sure you want to say this? Because this means we haven't been great in 20 years. Are you sure, man?
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying that's I'm being honest here, and I think that we've fallen short, over the past 3 seasons, including this season. We've fallen short. We looking at, you got to also look at where you kind of come from, because like I was saying at the beginning, it's like we were really on a trajectory, going completely
Yeah, we were in
completely
the
down,
eighth
completely
place,
out,
huh?
completely out of
Yeah.
everything. Europe. We were that one season. We were completely out of Europe.
Yeah. We were actually
that was
worse
the-
than Man
that was the
United.
shot.
Like you guys were
Yeah.
bad and we were worse. We were you guys were like 6th,
Yeah,
we
we
were
were
8th. It was
bad.
like, yeah.
We were bad. And I look at what our manager is trying to build. Sir Alex also took 5 years to win something at Man United, by the way. And I think that some things take time. And I look at going back to what Fabio's saying about our season. I look at our season, this particular season. I was saying that I really can't wait for it to end. And I really can't wait for it to end. I think the Jesse was saying about the Real Madrid Arsenal game, the hunger, and then didn't see it at PSG. Fully agree with you. I thought that I think what happened with us at PSG was a combination of nerves getting the better of you, especially in that first leg. Because if PSG hadn't scored early, I actually think we would have won that game. And in football at that level, it's all about moments. It doesn't matter if you have, Paolo Maldini and, a Ronaldinho and so forth. But if you have a Ronaldinho, those kind of games are the games that Ronaldinho is going to take that ball and make something happen. You have that special player. All right. And semifinals and finals, that's the moment for those special players. That's where they shine. That's why you pay the big bucks for them. And that's where they do their thing. And I think Arsenal have a good team in terms of players that know how to do the basics, know how to do their jobs and so forth and play well together. But what we're missing are 1 or 2 more game changers, guys that basically are going to change the entire game, put the ball in the net. And individuality matters in those kind of games. When you get to the semifinals and the finals of a Champions League, of a World Cup final, those kind of games, you need those big players. And we don't have that. And I'm hoping that it's something that we can next season kind of break the bank for and actually get, a solid finisher, a solid striker to complement the rest of the other players and to make the other players better. Because I think that, including our captain Odegaard, his form has completely gone. There's a couple of other players as well, not only him, but I think that we've just come to a point where you can point fingers at everyone. I think you can point fingers at our board for not investing in January. I look at PSG; they went and got Kvaratskhelia, and check what he's done to them. He's got them in a Champions League final, and we got no one. So
Aston
we
Villa-
only have ourselves to blame.
Aston Villa went and
did
got
the same.
Rashford from you guys.
They
and
got
and
Rashford. They went
yeah.
and got Asensio.
Yeah.
They got really good players, and they went far in the Champions League. I didn't think Villa were going to get to quarterfinals actually,
And I
and they
bring up
might
Villa.
qualify.
I bring up Villa because they're playing Man United and Tottenham next, and this is their last 2
wow.
games. And man, this is the best time to play number 16 and number 17 when they have Europa League Final as well to worry about. You know what I mean? So Aston Villa is relaxing right now.
Beginning of the season, they were probably like, oh man, we're playing Spurs and Man United the last 2 games of the season. That's
it's not-
bad.
Bring them.
Now they're like, woo, thank
Unai
you.
Emery is already saying Europe. You heard it in his conference.
But I just want to
Yeah.
just want to end off, Fabio. Just my train of thought. Sorry, just on that is that I really feel that just with Arsenal, we always seem to be that team that just needs like one or two more signings to actually be to actually like trump everyone, to like basically destroy everybody. Even during the Wenger years, it always felt like we needed like either a keeper or either a solid defender, or like,
Defensive
even when
midfielder.
we had, it always feels like we just short of getting like that one or two personnel to actually take us to like next level. And I still kind of feel that now, even with Arteta. Again, I'm 100% behind Arteta. He irritates me a lot, to be honest, but I look at what he's done not only on the field but also off the field. It's incredible how he's transformed this football club and made us competitive. Despite what some pundits say, yes, okay, he hasn't won a trophy since that first season. Some could arguably say with Wenger slash Emery's team players, and he hasn't won one with his players yet. But looking at what Man City have done, I mean, Man City have been incredible over the past 5+ years.
Yeah.
And I think Liverpool will be interesting to see. The pressure is going to be on them next season. And I actually like that as well. That, even though Arteta will have his own pressures from his own fans, but I think Liverpool will feel the pressure of, okay, we're champions. Everyone's going to now do low blocks against us and actually figure out how to play against us. We're losing Trent, and as much as they're fans, despicable, horrible fans, booing Trent Alexander-Arnold, but, they don't realize that he actually provides a lot of assists for them. So they're losing a massive player. And even though his defensive work might not be the best, but I look at yesterday's game against Arsenal, and I think there were 2 passes that he put through, and I think Nunes didn't do well with one, and I can't remember what was the other one. But just those 2 moments, that's what that player does for you. And they're going to lose that. And I want to see who, they seem to have gotten an academy player to replace him with. But where I'm getting to is that the next season is going to be interesting for a lot of teams, including Man United as well, because for Man United, it really depends what happens in that Europa League final.
Yeah, really.
You lose that final, you're out of Europe completely, which is terrible, but it means that you've also got more time to recover and focus just on Premier League, which can be actually a positive
thing. It can be
thing.
a blessing in disguise.
That's what happened to Chelsea, I think, when Conte's first season. That's exactly what happened to them. They were completely out of Europe, and they basically wiped the entire league.
One thing.
Sorry. Yeah.
One
Go,
thing
go.
you mentioned this fact of like Trent being like a star player for them. Kill Bill is not here today, Billy Maguire, but he's always talking about a Man United star player, which is your guys' captain, Bruno Fernandes. What do you guys think about him, man? What do you guys think of him in your team?
He is one of the greats, and he's unfortunate enough to be playing in the shittest team in the shittest time period. But as an individual player, he's up there, man. I think his stats speak for themselves.
Okay, so on my side, I want before I say Bruno, listen, I'm going back to what H-Dub was speaking about. So I'm going back to Arsenal, and the thing is, as H-Dub was speaking, I was trying to think of who I can compare Arsenal to, and I'm going off football and I'm going into basketball. So it's like you look at a player like LeBron James, and you look at how he is now based in the Lakers. Lakers is the team that everyone loves to hate, but also loves. Like, they are winners, you understand? But now he's actually reaching like the end of his career, and they're trying to bring in pieces to make sure that at least he wins his last ring. You understand? But there's always 1 or 2 or 3 pieces that they don't have. And unfortunately, it then puts them in a position whereby they're like, you have so much hope. And the thing is, the amount of coverage they get is insane. They're talking about Lakers every bloody day because they are the star team.
I mean, I'm not a basketball fan, but I know them, Yeah.
LeBron is LeBron, he's everything. Yeah. So the thing is, they lost so bad in the playoffs that people just went quiet. They were silent.
I see how you relate this to Arsenal. I get it.
Arsenal, I look at Arsenal, and the last time you guys had a team that had really the it person, was it when Thierry was there? Was it?
Come on.
No, I'm asking.
Nah.
When was the last time?
Alexis Sanchez. man.
Alexis Sanchez and
Alexis
Mesut Ozil.
Sanchez.
Okay, fantastic. So, Alexis.
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah.
Actually,
Sanchez was.
you know what annoys me? That year, that season that we got Ozil, and then we went and afterwards we got Alexis Sanchez. Imagine we had just kept Van Persie, man. You guys had to come and fuck shit up for us, man.
So,
No,
Can you
he just
imagine
wanted to
Ozil,
win
Alexis
something.
Sanchez, and Van Persie?
well, okay,
You
look,
have to
look,
come
look.
for us.
The thing is,
Yeah.
like,
Which one?
We got 3, by the way.
he's
We got 3. I talk about Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay.
it's not about Jesus
Jesus.
because
Jesus.
he's an incredible striker. You understand? But unfortunately, when I was
Incredible. I don't know about incredible, but yes.
yeah, but like
Okay.
he's a decent guy. He's a decent guy. But the thing,
Yeah, it's decent.
when we were watching the match with PSG, the Arsenal fans were just like, it's so unfortunate that even though we've got a team that's a bit decent, you find that things never align. You
Yeah,
understand?
it's true. Huh? Jesus is injured.
Mhm.
Like people are injured when you need.
Havertz is injured.
Yes.
Gabriel, our other Gabriel, who for me was our player of the season, our defender, who was scoring all the goals
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season.
Magalhaes, yeah.
He was injured
was
as
big
well.
miss, yeah.
Like, yo,
The thing is this. Like for me, my question is this: when are we gonna stop making excuses and things start doing this?
Yes, for both teams. For both teams, it's true.
Yeah, you know what?
It's just so painful because the thing is,
You know what? We might need a Ghanaian witch doctor, man. To head to the
can you put
Emirates.
us in touch?
I will hope
Hey,
all of you.
he's coming to Old Trafford first, okay?
No, we need Ghanaian Witch Doctor, who is part of the Ghana Arsenal Football Fan Club. So we know he's going to do the right stuff. He's not going to mess us up.
Just okay. Arsenal needs a player, somebody, a star. Man United needs 2 strikers.
No. Man United needs a lot more, my friend.
No.
Yeah.
Not even. No. You know that I don't know if the stats are the same right now, but as of a few weeks ago, who was it at the top? I don't remember the exact numbers anymore, but in terms of chances in front of goal, chances created in front of goal, who was it? Was it Newcastle or one of these random clubs that's in the top 4 at that time had done something like 90 whatever. Man United had done more than them, but they were sitting in 16th. Because we cannot penetrate. If you watch Man United play, we will have build-up, which is I won't lie, is very frustrating. It's very slow. And then there'll be a chance.
Sounds
and
like you're talking
hits
about
you.
Arsenal even.
Yeah, it sounds like Arsenal, especially against PSG.
Yeah, so
You guys had it for one game. United had it the whole season.
No, bro.
We
Cannot-
had it
as well,
yesterday
bro.
against Liverpool.
Bro, we had it
Against Liverpool,
yesterday.
we could have
first
scored
half.
like 5 or like 6.
Man,
But
it's so frustrating.
interesting you brought up Garnacho. I wanted to ask you guys, because for me, I don't watch Man United. I hate you guys. I try to not watch you. The few times
Yeah,
I have
same
seen
here.
Man United
The only
play,
time I'm gonna watch you is in the final.
and I'm
Thank
going to be
you.
supporting
Other
you
than
guys,
that-
man. Yeah. So you guys now
Yeah.
are actually invited to the podcast after Gate Crashing. Now that we can all hate on Tottenham together.
Yeah.
For me, Garnacho looks like one of those players who could have a little something for me. No special. Him and Kobe Maino, I wouldn't mind if
Yeah.
Arsenal went and took them from you guys. I won't lie. What do you guys think of those 2 players, man?
Thank you for your infidelity and honesty. But no, I think Garnacho has flair, but he hasn't discovered where the target is. Because he'll create chances and, it's gone. Obi, the youngster, who I swear is from Nigeria, but apparently he's got an English citizenship. That guy is hope for me. He creates, there's a lot of hope. He's very young. Hoyland must go back to his ice country.
Denmark? Where is
which
he from?
is Denmark. No, Hoyland is just not making it. He can't hold the ball. He can't finish. He can't create. No. Who's the other one up front there?
Xerxes.
Yeah, I don't even.
Xerxes, the guy who came from
You guys
Italy.
have some
You guys have
interesting
some.
players.
You guys have some random ass players, man. Jesse, when you heard
Xerxes
of
belongs to
Olund,
Saul.
I was like, are these guys looking for Haaland? Like, what's going on, man? Like, why did you guys get that player? Anyways, guys, listen. We can spend all day talking about how crap Man United is, but I do want to ask the question. If you could trade places with us right now, because a lot of our Man United fans, including you guys, are always sending messages every day talking crap about Arsenal. But would you not swap places with us like this? Because you're talking about how you won FA Cups, you're in the Europa League final, but you're chilling there in 16th. Who's had the better season? Us with no trophies in second place or Man United? If you win the
I'll
Europa
answer
League?
that. In terms of your games and your results, I would swap places with you. No doubt. It's been like, you can't compare. If we do win the Europa League, then no, I would not want to be second with no trophies.
Even if it means being 16th.
Yeah, so what? You're 16th or you're second. What does that change?
Yeah, you guys.
Especially, okay, no. Let me say, if you're 16th and you win the Europa League,
Doctor,
if you're
listen,
16th and you're in Europe next season,
I think you might need to see a doctor, man. Yeah.
no. If you're in 16th and you win a European trophy,
Yeah.
it's better than being second and having no trophy.
So this is what I want to say is what's wrong with Man United, guys. When you were asking earlier, the fact that you think it's okay to be in 16th place because it's the same as being second, I think this is the problem with your players as well. Because to be honest, I actually think Man United is not as bad. You guys could have done well, and finished 10th. But your players are like, who cares? So now you really are going down. And for me, I think the problem, it's the same thing happened with us when Arteta came. He even took good players and he sold them and we were angry as fans. You guys need heart surgery, man. The culture in Man United. I think every player there that doesn't care needs to leave. And I'm afraid that's going to be more than half the team, man. People are there just earning big bucks, getting paid crazy money to play crap. Yeah.
For example.
To
I
finish
agree.
16th. Guys, I don't know if this is allowed, but if I had a football club and my players are in 16th and we are the size of Man United, which by the way still gets the biggest, Man United is still like in the top 2 or 3 clubs with revenue in the world in terms of making money back in the day. Now it's kind of changing because you guys are not getting Champions League, but just selling jerseys, sponsorships, the commercial side, Man United is still the giant, definitely the biggest in England. And then players are doing what they're doing every week. You guys are losing 2-0 every week like it's normal. Honestly, I would stop paying player salaries, bro. I'll be like, you guys didn't play, so what am I paying you for, man? They can sue me. I'll be like, you're not getting paid. Because to pay someone 400, 500,000 pounds per week when they're doing what they're doing, I think it's depressing. Personally,
it is depressing. 100% agree with you, Fabio. It is Can I swear on this thing?
Don't worry.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Yeah, it is fucked up. It is so heartbreaking to watch these players week in and week out. It's like weekly torture. Seriously. So I agree with you. 100%. Rashford, Casemiro must retire.
Bro, for sure.
Yeah, look. Fernandes is the only guy with fire, really. And he's lighting up like Patrick Dorgu. I like Lenny Yoro. I like. And Onana needs to, I don't know, go to the PSL or something.
Look, I think you, like I was saying, like it's for United for me is like a top to bottom, open heart surgery, like Fabio was saying, because it just feels like you guys are it's like that, it's like rinse repeat, washing machine. So you'll win the Europa League. Mourinho won you the Europa League, and then it still went shit from there. So you'll win a cup, you'll think you're on the up, sign a few more players, and then, form dips. You can't compete with the Man Cities, the Liverpools, and now the Arsenals, Chelsea, though they are, it's another team that who knows what's going on there. And then you're back to like being an 8th or 10th, and you sack the manager, and then you get another manager in who's actually a really good manager, because all the managers you've had, okay, Moyes, to a certain extent, like you're saying, like, okay, I get why he was appointed. I get it. But then after that, Mourinho, Van Gaal, you've had even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I thought he was decent with you guys.
I thought he was
actually
decent.
was shocked. I was actually shocked when you guys sacked him, because I actually thought he did a decent job.
Me too.
But anyways, you guys always really, it's like almost like you need to, all this winning Europa League, winning FA Cup, winning Europa League, winning FA Cup, it's almost like you're papering over the cracks. It's almost like you're keeping people happy, and you're using that as an excuse of going, hey, yeah, like, we won a trophy. Yeah, like, we won a trophy. But I always look at things, and managers and players that look to move to clubs, they always look at what is the future of this club. And we've suffered from that, because that's why Van Persie left. That's why Nasri left. That's why Sagna left. Clichy, all these players left Arsenal because we weren't investing in the team. We weren't investing, everything, all of these, we weren't investing, we weren't making the team better. So agents and players, they talk, and they saw short careers. We've got to move to win something. And with United, it's like you can't keep doing this rinse repeat, because when players and agents and so forth look at where to go, they look at the league. They look at like the league table, and they actually look at the teams there, and they look at like how they play. So one thing that you've got going for you is you've got the right manager now, and that's something I think we can all agree. You've got the right manager, but now you need to trust that manager, and you need to actually like even terminate some contracts, because that's what we did. We had to terminate and pay, players off. We had to pay Ozil to go. We had to pay quite a few players to actually like just leave, because they were also being like a bad atmosphere around the other players, the young players. And the young players are the most vulnerable, if you call it that, because once they get into like these cliques, and then, they get brainwashed into these things, and then you've lost them.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's why I was asking about Garnacho, because I don't know if you remember, like in November or December, Garnacho and Rashford both got in trouble because of how they were acting in training. And then Amorim was unhappy with both and stopped playing them both. And I think that was really good management from Amorim. I was like, this guy is a good manager, because the fact he did that, he could have just put Garnacho on the side and kept playing Rashford because he's the star, and he's like, nope, the star and the young up and coming, both of you on the corner. And then he showed Garnacho, when he improved his behavior, he came back into the team. So I think that's really important for a young player, to just show him like, listen, it's not personal, but there's standards and there's culture and there's a way you have to be, and you have to make the effort. And if you act the right way, you play with us. If you don't, you out. And I think that for me, for too long, Man United, it's almost contagious. Good players come into Man United and become bad. Do you know what I mean? Because of the culture. And I think it's also like, I don't know if the same thing happens, but I definitely noticed it. I went to Scotland for like a football trip. Alex H already knows, but we were like kind of learning a little bit about like the environment in the dressing room and how to manage a group. Have you guys ever, and I think it's kind of similar even with people in our office, when you have like one or two people who are always complaining and they're unhappy, then all of a sudden becomes 3 or 4, then becomes 5, becomes 6, and then that starts to like affect the whole vibe of the whole place. I think those are the things that like Man United has to, like, Amorim has to remove immediately. Everyone who he thinks like is not bringing positive energy to the team, he needs to cut. And the board needs to be able to do it. I feel like sometimes Man United's board is more worried about selling jerseys than they are, or toilet paper. You know, you guys have like a toilet paper sponsor, bro. Like, what is wrong with you, man?
Branded toilet paper.
Yeah.
Nah, man,
like,
it goes
fragrances.
back to what H was saying earlier, is that it's become such a financial, it's become a business beyond the passion of the sport. I think it's always been a business, you know, for sure. Even in the 90s, there was big money. But, man, we were fans of the game. And you talk about culture. Come on, guys. There's nothing today that compares to the rivalry of Roy Keane and Vieira.
For sure.
And that atmosphere of either playing at Highbury or you guys coming to Old Trafford, that was unforgettable. Sure. And you know what? As much as
that was on par with like El Clasico during the Galacticos and Mourinho versus Pep.
Yeah, man.
El Clasicos.
Yeah. Ferguson and Wenger. It was like Clash of the Titans. No matter where we're at currently, and no matter the rivalry, I hope that sometime in the next few years, both teams are back up to that level where they have captains who drive the passion in their dressing rooms, and we see more games like we used to.
No, for sure.
I do think football is going to make a comeback, because I don't know. I think, guys, we all were getting a bit tired. Huh? You guys, so even Henri said he was starting to get bored of watching football. Huh? Yeah. I think for a while, maybe analysts, myself included, like the people who are into statistics and coaches, I think players are becoming more and more controlled, and the game is lacking a bit, and the business is taking more and more. And I think once it starts to affect viewership, which it has started to a bit, I think now we're getting your Lamine Yamals, and Barcelona might have lost, but everyone is excited to watch them. Like, even I'm not a Barcelona fan. Guys, I almost bought a Lamine Yamal jersey. I was in Barcelona. I was like, I wanted to buy it. You know, like it's crazy, like how when you have a talent. I do feel like people are starting to realize it again. Like, guys, football still has to be about goals. And by the way, I actually read that they're busy testing that offside. They're busy changing that offside rule potentially. They're doing the test with the junior teams for offside now because
Is
of
that Wenger's rule?
they're actually trying it, yeah, where the player has to be fully offside, like for it to count.
His
rather
whole
than-
body,
rather
his
than-
whole body.
Yeah, not like, oh, he was offside
Rather
by
than
a,
his toe.
a toe or like his belly
By his
button.
toe.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're busy testing, I think, with the under 17s and
More
under
goals,
19s and whatever. So
Yes,
let's see.
more goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, from my viewpoint, it means probably more goals against Man United at this rate, but that can change.
No, but also, I think also VAR, VAR can rather also like focus on things off the ball, things like grabbing, rather than kind of, this whole like, sorry, not to go off topic, but the game yesterday with Liverpool and Arsenal, and I look at our second goal, which Marino was then onside, but that was a semi-automated offsides. If they didn't have semi-automated
They would have blown
offsides,
it
I
off.
swear to you, the English VAR guys would have drawn a line.
That's like
because that's how they
skew.
were doing it.
Yeah.
They were drawing a line. They were literally drawing lines
With
on
a
the computer.
on a computer
And
with
that's
a
how they were-
ruler or something, and sometimes putting it wrong.
And that's how they were figuring out offsides in probably the most expensive league in the world.
Yeah.
In terms of clubs, in terms of
You're going
players,
to
and so
rulers,
forth. And
man. You're like, hey, do you have a pencil ruler? Yeah, on a
they
screen.
even
like,
so much that I think it was last season when they drew the lines wrong in our
Yeah.
game against Brentford, where they scored while it was actually offside. But later on, they discovered that the VAR official drew the lines wrong. Like,
That's painful.
So yeah, so
but
for
these
me,
mistakes
things like
only happen to us, huh? Doesn't happen to these clubs like Man United and Liverpool, the North. Like Liverpool and players hold our throats. It's all good. That Saka thing yesterday, because since you brought up the game, wasn't even, for me, it's fine. Whatever. I wasn't even complaining because I'm expecting it. Don't forget, we've had that before earlier this season when a player literally landed
Havertz.
on someone's throat. Did you remember?
yeah,
Like-
Havertz, they literally choked him.
Yeah, man. Like,
Serious.
fellas, the stuff we've seen against Arsenal this season.
The stuff we've seen is crazy.
Bro, this season, the first 5 games, I think we got 3 red cards, no? I was
Yeah.
already like, this season is like, can it end? Like after 5 games of this Premier League, we were already over it. And that was only
3
referees.
reds.
That's even before we were playing bad. That's even
Yeah.
before we we're playing bad.
For me, like where I agree with Arteta, I think there's some things that he says that I think that he should keep to himself, if I'm being honest. I think he, after the PSG second leg, he was saying that, oh yeah, but we're the best team in Europe. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
bro,
but
like,
say
keep
that
it
to
to
your
yourself.
players. Don't say it to us. Don't say it to public. Say that to your players, because that's going to motivate them. Say it to your players. Do what you need to do as a manager to keep the spirits up, because you still have, Liverpool, Newcastle, Southampton to beat to make sure you get second place. So yeah, say it to your team, but don't say it publicly, because also, to be honest, it actually is disrespectful to PSG, who
Yeah.
actually beat you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
they
they beat
deserve
us
to
fair
win.
and square.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat us fair and square. But this some things might happen controversially and etc. But
Yeah.
they were the better team.
For sure.
They did well over the 2 legs, and they deserve to be in that final. I think that what he's done at Arsenal, and I think that a lot of pundits look at how, because we're very tough to beat. Actually, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
say,
we've got a
because
great squad.
I look at our season, and it's been a terrible season, injuries and so forth. But where a lot of media pundits and also rival fans are scared is that we managed to get to a Champions League semi-final
Semi-final
with
and
probably
second
about
place.
5 to 7 first team players injured.
Wow. Huh?
That's scary. And that also shows you he basically turned Marino into a striker,
Yeah.
a number 8, or number 6 in some cases, to a number 9. So he didn't really do it with Havertz. Havertz already had that in his locker
Yeah,
from
but he did improve him. Havertz
Chelsea,
for
yeah.
us versus Havertz from Chelsea, completely different player, huh?
100%. And he's done the same with Marino. He's adapted players. He's adapted a bit of his tactics. And for me, when I hear our own fans kind of saying like, "Oh yeah, but he hasn't won anything, Arteta out," I get the frustration. I get it.
Frustration,
I
yeah,
get
but
the
Arteta
frustration.
out is
But
come on, man.
Arteta out, you're
These guys, people
mad.
are crazy.
Bad news,
They wanna
man.
go
You're
and finish
crazy.
eighth again, huh? They wanna finish
You're
eighth again.
crazy. You're crazy. This is one of the best young managers in Europe who outclassed Ancelotti, the legend, in that Real Madrid tie. He has now got the respect of Pep Guardiola because we punished them. I think was it 5-1?
Yeah,
Or that we punished them at the
5-1, man.
Emirates.
That was the best for me.
You know, Liverpool.
Yeah, those two games.
Liverpool haven't.
Happiest.
Yeah, Liverpool. I think Liverpool haven't beaten us in
Yeah.
2
A few
seasons
years.
now. Yeah.
Couple of years.
You know, you look at the big games, and I look forward to the big games now.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I used to dread wanting
Every
to
time
play
we used to lose
even
badly,
United
yeah.
or even City and so forth, because I know he would lose badly. But now I look forward to those games more than ever.
But
because
my problem, H, is we still, I mean, United didn't beat us in the league. These big teams haven't beat us in the league. I mean, United is not even big anymore, 16th. But in the FA Cup, for me, the most frustrating day of this season for me was losing that FA Cup match to Man United. Because this is the worst Man United in history, and they still beat us, man. And for me, this is the one part where I'm like...
And that's the hits and misses of Arteta, where he has to improve, where he has to really improve. Otherwise, it really is going to come back to bite him, and he actually could lose his job. You know, nobody's safe. You know, I'm saying I back the manager. I really do. But I also know that this is football, and things change. You know, things change in a week. In football, and he himself as a manager also has to look at himself in the mirror and actually acknowledge that, you know, he's come short a couple of times as well from what he's done. And I like his attitude this season of not using the injuries as an excuse and just going about it. I actually really like that, and he has gone about it. But where I think that pundits, rival fans are really on our backs and actually teasing us is the fact that, you know, they know we're good. And we are good, because when all our players are fit, like, I fear no one.
For real.
I could tell you now.
For real.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't argue with any of that. And I cannot say the same for Man United. So...
Wow, you just became the most... I think we just made the most reasonable Man United fan in the world, man. So you just agreed with all that. Good.
But what I'm saying to Alex is that from Man United's point of view, I think with them, it's like, don't let these trophies and Europa League, for example, paper over the cracks, because you guys need serious, like, this is where I lost my train of thought. What I wanted to sort of like end off my train of thought was that the league tells you what's what. The league will always tell you what's what. The Cups is great for the fans. The Cups is great for the fans and morale and self-esteem, except Champions League. Champions League puts you as kings of Europe for sure. But the domestic Cups and the second-tier European Cups, Europa League, and now this third-tier Conference League.
Yeah.
You know,
they're going to come up with a fourth tier soon, you know? 10th place gets a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is,
point.
like, the league never lies. And even Amorim said it himself. I think his previous press conference, I read something, him saying that, you know, yes, we're in Europa League final, but, you know, looking at the league, it's been terrible. Like, and he knows, like, that even to attract top players, they also look at the league. And the league tells you who is good, who is bad, who is, like, done terrible in terms of, like, team, played 38 matches home and away against the other teams in this elite league, and you've ended up 16th and so forth. It doesn't lie.
It doesn't lie.
And you guys need to figure out how you're going to get better from that perspective, because that for me is what tells you whether a team is good or not. It's the league. It's not cups. It's not, you know, because cups, there's luck involved. There's extra time involved. There's penalties involved. And the league is the league, man. Like, you either win, draw, or lose. There's no extra time. There's no...
Do you guys watch
penalties.
the manager press conferences? Because I really like comparing them. I was watching Amorim versus the Tottenham manager, Postecoglou, talking about Europa League Final. And Amorim, for me, is like, he's really smart, man, because he's so honest. And he's been so honest from the very beginning. The English media is confused. The English media wants to, like, come for him. And he's like, literally like, this is the worst Man United team in history. We are really terrible. Us winning the Europa League, I don't even want to think about if that's playing Champions League is good or bad because it's masking the problem. This is terrible, and I'm doing absolutely everything I can to change this. And if it continues like this, I will walk. He literally said this, and I'm like, yo, it's like
Really, yeah? Did he say that?
he said it. He said it like if he goes into the summer and he feels like things are gonna be like this going into next season. For him, he's saying it's unacceptable. He's like, I'm finding it really scary and worrying how players in this team are okay with losing games. Like we are Man United.
Yeah.
And for me, when Antonio Conte did that at Tottenham, you saw their fans all got touched. And I was like, this is what you've needed. Like you guys have destroyed manager after manager after manager. Sometimes it's actually great when the manager is very honest like this. I have respect, man. He said it. I was like, no, this guy, I've got respect for him, man.
I like that.
We've already seen him
But
beat Man
and-
City this season. He beat Man City with Sporting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He won the league with Sporting last year. He's a good manager, man, but he needs to be
great
given the
manager.
right tools. And Man United needs to move off players. Mourinho said it. He said it. There's players there 8 years later. That when I arrived on my first day, I gave a list saying these players need to leave. They're still there. How many managers have
Those
come and
guys
gone?
need to go. Yeah, I agree, man. Because there's some poison in there that has been there for the last, I don't know how many years. Because you can't have that size of club with that quality of managers and perform continuously worse for 10 consecutive years, basically.
For sure.
Yeah, it's the truth.
You guys need to cut
Anyway.
the evil from the root, start afresh. And I think he's doing it right. He's like, it's fine, we're going to be bad. But now he's going to remove the players and then you're going to slowly build. People always think it's about star players, but sometimes you got to trust in youth, man. PSG, for how long were they buying all these big stars
That's
and
what
not
Chelsea
achieving?
did when Lampard was there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then Tuchel took over and they won
and
Champions
the
League.
Champions League. PSG,
Yeah.
Messi left, Neymar left, Mbappe left. Now they're the best team they've been. This is the best we've seen. Everyone in France hated PSG before.
Yeah, they're
Now,
one win away from
they're about to win
winning,
the Champions League, man. And everyone now is proud of PSG. Even if you're a rival fan, you can't hate on them because they are literally doing they're getting young, hungry players.
They're doing it right now.
Yeah.
They're doing it right. Before I think where everyone, even myself, I was like, fuck PSG.
Yeah,
they're
just
trying to go the
rich money.
Man City route,
Exactly.
Chelsea route, just buying players, trying to buy. They had Messi, Mbappe, Neymar at one point.
Yeah, man.
And they still couldn't win it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now it feels like, trusting the youth, like you're saying,
man.
and kind of being a team. But even with that team, you have game changers, which I was saying.
sure.
You need those guys that are going to be the difference.
Yeah, man.
Usman Dembele,
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia,
For sure.
you
Doué
need,
this year as well.
Vitinha.
Yeah, Vitinha. Sure.
Doué, Vitinha.
Hakimi,
You need
Nuno
those players
Mendes,
that-
Tripa. It's we can keep naming the whole team. Donnarumma.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Donnarumma,
team,
man.
It's just super. It's actually they've become they're all
Donnarumma for
game
me
changers,
won
man. Yeah,
that tie for them.
for sure.
Yeah.
There's a video I'll send to you guys. It's an Arsenal fan canceling the hotel reservation for the Champions League final. And they ask him what's the reason. And he says, you can put on Donnarumma. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. But yeah, I think for United, man, again, we will be supporting you guys because we can't see Spurs
Please,
win a trophy.
please win it,
I
guys.
know Harry Kane won a plate.
Yeah. Let him
And he's
keep his
very
plate.
and
Yeah.
looking at the photos, he was hogging that plate, not even letting other
Probably
players
slept
hold it.
with it, bro. That guy has been
Probably slept
his
with
whole
it.
life asking for that, man.
Yeah,
Shame, man.
but there was someone that was saying that leaving Tottenham with no trophy to go to the Bundesliga, especially with Bayern Munich, to go to Bayern Munich to win a trophy, it's like you losing your virginity at a brothel.
Oh, yeah. I get it, man.
It's
And he still managed to
I
F
read
that up
that.
in the first season, huh? He managed to F that up,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
Bayern had
Yeah.
won every year. He went there and
Yeah.
he took his curse
Yeah.
with.
yeah.
Shit. man.
So I hope that doesn't trickle into Tottenham.
No, Tottenham won.
But what worries me, Alex, is the fact that United haven't been able to beat Tottenham this season, man.
Listen,
What's
tell you what worried
what's-
me
what's-
when I saw that. It was not that it was Tottenham. It's that it was another Premier League team. I was like, shit, man. Why do we have to face a Premier League team? We clearly suck against all of them. It doesn't matter if they're like Southampton or Arsenal or Man City. We just suck against all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful because I get what you said about the trophy, but you also said it is a morale booster.
For sure. And money, man. You guys will be in the Champions League again. You guys can
Yeah,
compete
you
with
guys should
us
be in the
for
Champions League.
players. Like, you know?
It's a little lifeline, and right now United needs whatever lifeline they can grab.
Yeah, and it'll be the official funeral and maybe liquidation of Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know that
That's
was
what we
No,
need.
you know,
are you serious?
No. But
no,
spiritually.
no.
You know?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm not serious. But
Yeah. But we wish we were.
and
you know?
Postecoglou will be leaving.
Yeah.
And I actually, you know what? Postecoglou for me, you know, he's a serious guy, and I think that Tottenham
He's an unserious
have
club.
not is an unserious club, because even last season when that whole thing of like losing to Man City so that they could win the title instead of Arsenal, and they missed out on Champions League for that.
Yeah. Like that is really. That was
Because
actually
of
the
that.
day they broke Postecoglou. Huh? That was the day when him and the
Yeah.
fans from
They
then
broke
onwards
him
has been
and
bad. He
they
was like
broke him.
really
Yeah.
worried. He's like, what I've seen today has really worried me about this football club. Like
Yeah.
they're more worried about our downfall than they are of their own success. But
Exactly.
I must say,
Right.
like
It's probably because I don't know what success feels like.
exactly, they don't. You're right. You're so right. Like they won a Carabao Cup in 2009 or something. That's it. Jesse apologizes. He says he lives in Africa, man. They cut his electricity. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. But
Understand. I do.
I don't know, Alex, if you watch the Portuguese league, because we are being very linked to Gyökeres, right? Who is the player
Yeah.
that Amorim used to play with. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
convinced I want him. My one question is, if Man United does make Champions League and Amorim has worked with Gyökeres before and Gyökeres is so amazing, surely Man United would also be being linked to Gyökeres. Why are they not being linked? That is what's making me question my own eyes, what I've seen, you know? Like, have you seen him much?
Okay, that's a fair question.
Do you know what
I don't
players
know
Man United are
other
being
than-
linked with for the summer? Any players, any rumors?
No, but United has been linked with him.
They have?
Yeah, for the past
What?
couple of weeks. I've been seeing-
Gyökeres? Yeah.
I don't know how
And I
serious
think
it is.
I think it will depend on if you guys get Champions League, really.
Yeah, it goes back to that trophy being a
Because
little
he's not a young player, so he'll want to get Champions League.
Mm.
You'll want to go to a club that will guarantee Champions League year in, year out, but also a club that, and that's the thing for me with Man U, it's like, it almost feels like you guys need to break that cycle. It's going to set you back a little bit, but it could actually make you guys fly
In the future.
in probably like 1 or 2 seasons time.
Mm.
And I don't want to compare with Arteta and Arsenal, but you know, Arteta and Arsenal have actually overachieved. You know, I think there was like that one season where we should have qualified for the Champions League and then we missed out. And every season, like, we seem to be
Points were going like
getting
higher
a bit
and higher
better.
and higher, you know? 60 something.
And even this season,
high 60s
if we
to
finish
then 80
second
something to then
with
89,
yeah.
you know? I almost feel like
Yeah.
we did it backwards. This season is actually the season we should have had 2 years ago because we were like getting like 62, 64. I thought
Yeah.
now it's like 71. Instead, we went from 60 something to like 84 or 83 points and then 89, you know? I feel like this was that season I was expecting us to have.
Yeah.
And we keep building,
Yeah.
you know? But now,
So for
next season, man, we need to do it. To not provoke Evra, we love to say for us, we like Netflix, you know, always next season. But I do think next season.
he's got a point though. He's
he
got
does,
a point.
man.
Can't lie.
Next season, we
Can't
need
lie.
to
It hurts. It
really
hurts.
like be, for me, this is it. Like if we don't next season, no more excuses, man. Like this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for United, it feels like you guys have to get rid of those players, even if you have to terminate contracts
Yeah.
and all of that,
Bite the
rip up
bullet,
Yes.
like
contracts,
we did.
keep the manager, keep there's a few youngsters in there. Mino, there's a
Yes.
couple of
You mentioned them. Euro,
players,
like all the guys
Fernandes.
you were saying.
Yeah, Euro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a new keeper. Even your sub keeper is not that great. But you know, you can do that. But the point I'm saying is that you can't be giving out. So right now, Man United, it feels like you either go there for the check or you know
Yeah, the cash is crazy, man. The wages are too big.
and that's it basically
Yeah,
because
that's it.
the wages are big, and I feel like you guys need to cut that completely, bring it down, get some, you know, lock down some of those youth players and start buying players that are going to complement what Amorim feels like is missing that can grow with you guys. So that's what we did. We started buying 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds max. That's what we were doing. The
And now the team has
Martinellis, the
grown
Saka came
together,
through.
and now we're delivering.
And
you
now
know?
the team has grown together.
Yeah.
And there's these young players that have been playing big games. These guys have been playing big games, and some of them are not even 25 yet. So, and all we're doing is renewing those contracts. But also, when we renew those contracts, we also need to show them that we are investing in the squad. We are looking to get 1 or 2 star players in next season, and because in our case now it's getting to a point where we need to actually now win to actually renew these contracts and keep going to win some more. All these players are going to leave. It's as simple as that. That's football. And United almost need to start a new project where they are ripping up contracts, starting from scratch, not from scratch, but starting to really look at how to build a team that is hungry and not coming in for the cash.
Yes.
So
I
back
agree.
to Gyökeres, I feel that even if United qualify for Champions League, if Arsenal give him an offer, I think he goes to Arsenal. Just because I look at his age and I look at Arsenal's profile in terms of what that team is, in terms of how that team is built. They're ready to win now. And United kind of feel like they are probably like 2 seasons back. If they start ripping up, doing heart surgery, they can actually get to that consistent standard, because United are not consistent. And that's
Not
the
even
problem.
close, man. I don't know what consistency means. But yeah, I think if there are some drastic actions, like you say, and we root out the poisonous influences in the club, and start building a culture, just like you said, then yes, maybe not even next season, 2 or 3 seasons, we'll be back to some respectable position.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my final question to you guys. X, what do you expect from Man United this summer and for next season? What for you is a good season for Man United next season?
Okay, so this summer we need to get an experienced striker, someone who can finish. We need to replace the goalkeeper. I think, look, considering we're not going to splash a whole bunch of money, I think if we can get a striker, get a goalkeeper, and weed out the bad influences, we'll look like a completely different team. I think that's the best investment for the summer. And then for next season, look,
you need wing backs as well, huh? You need wing backs, huh? Because the way Amorim plays, I think he
you
needs
do.
the wing backs. Otherwise, you guys don't have.
Look, it's true, but we've got Patrick Dorgu, who I think has a lot of potential. He's young and he's fast and he looks hungry. Sure, when he's on form,
No, guys, Luke Shaw still
not injured.
Luke Shaw's got to go, man. He's one of those players that, for me, you got to rip it up, man.
Okay.
He's just
always injured.
This is what we're
Yes,
talking about.
that's
Like,
why,
you need
bro.
to be ruthless with players.
Yeah.
If he's not there,
you're right.
Like, you need to be ruthless.
we've had players
You're
like
right.
this before, man. Like these players, we've had so many.
We know
of these.
exactly what
so
you're going
much
through.
talent. It's gotta go, man.
Okay,
I mean,
listen,
I'm even wearing a jersey right now. Like, this guy was my favorite player, man. I've got Jack Wilshere right here in the back, legend. But we had to, we had to go.
We had to let him go, man.
Okay, listen, I can tell from your passion and your experience that this is real. Okay, Luke Shaw needs to go. But still, I maintain, if we get a proper striker and a proper goalkeeper, we'll look like a different team. And then in terms of what's
that in league for next year, what's that for you?
Yeah, because your midfield is actually decent. Yeah.
It is decent, man. Ahmad is great.
Yeah.
Kobe Mainu, I think, is awesome.
You got Fernandez there as well.
So, what's going to be an acceptable position? It has to be like a Champions League.
What? Already? Okay. I thought you were going to say like 8th.
No.
position next season. That's the acceptable.
Listen, man, I think, this is Manchester United.
That's
We're
the
not
problem.
talking
You guys
even
are trying
about
to rush
Chelsea.
all the time, man. You're trying to rush. At
Oh, no, we're not trying to rush. I don't know what we're trying to do. But we need to set the right targets, which I think, you've mentioned the right targets. And we need to execute those right targets.
But bros, we have to also be real. Liverpool is already there next season for Champions League, right? Man City will be back with Pep Guardiola. Man City will be back.
Yeah, they will. I think they're going to get Florian Wirtz. They're going to get a few players in. Yeah.
I want to believe that we will continue to deliver and that we'll actually be winning something next season. So Arsenal is there.
No, we'll be there as well.
That's already 3 teams.
Yep.
The way that Chelsea spends money like there's no tomorrow. This summer, they might sign
Chelsea and
20
Newcastle.
players. They might sign 20 players. Newcastle is there.
possible.
They've got the money of
Newcastle
Saudi
will be
Arabia.
there.
Right? Aston Villa is also backed and doing well. So for me, Man United in the top 7, top 8, that's good already, man, for next season. And then you build from that to Champions League the season after, and then to challenging for winning trophies. If you're trying to go from 10th to 4th place, you guys are going to take shortcuts again. You're going to go and sign some 29-year-old, you know what I mean?
No,
Who's
no, no.
playing well.
I think those targets that were mentioned in this podcast, if those were actually done over this summer, you would have a completely different Man United team.
We'll see next season. We'll invite you back next season, man.
You asked me a question and I gave your answer, okay? So invite me back next season.
Fair enough.
From 16th to Champions League.
Yeah, it's a big task, huh?
Yeah.
It's a big task. But look, I think I think you guys can actually do it. I'm gonna answer different than Fabio. Wait, Fabio. I actually think you guys can do it. But I think you guys can do it if you're out of Champions League and out of Europe completely. Then if you're playing one game a week, I actually think you guys can do it. Because I've seen teams do it, like within the Chelsea.
Yeah, but that was Chelsea. They came
the
from
way they did it.
7th, because there was no Conference League back then.
Yeah, but he's not talking about winning the league here. He's talking about like qualifying for Champions League, which 5th might actually get you that again next season, depending on how the English teams do in Champions League. So it's possible, but I think if you do get Champions League again, there's a gift and a curse for you guys, because I really think that if you guys beat Tottenham and you win the Europa League, you get into Champions League, and I think you're gonna go the route of papering the cracks, where you're gonna spend, you're gonna do all of this just to be a team that's in the Champions League again. Off you go again, while you have these underlying problems that will creep up once again. And then what's gonna happen? A great manager, Ruben Amorim, is gonna get sacked, and
a few months into next season, not even
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I hear you. And you're painting the horror picture, and I hear
I think that if you guys lose the Europa League final, which I don't want, because
let's hope not,
because of Spurs, I'm just saying for you guys, it provides an opportunity to rebuild properly. It provides an opportunity to actually, again, you still need to terminate contracts, but you look at the youth squad and you look at other players that you can afford to get that don't mind not being in the Champions League for a year and build their way forward, that you can actually become this team that Amorim actually wants to build.
Yeah.
Then us, even as Arsenal, we start becoming like, okay, like Man United are going to be a problem in a few seasons if they go this route. That's just how I feel, because it's not like you've got a manager like Conte. Like if you get like a Conte, for example, he wants to win right now. It's boom, bam, we're going to win trophies right now. Thank you. Bye-bye. But with Amorim, it feels like it's a guy that like can build you things. He can build you a dynasty.
Yeah.
What he did at Sporting is incredible.
Yeah, man, crazy.
Crazy. He's built them into like a giant that even Benfica can't even keep up with. He's left. Obviously, things have changed, but he was basically wiping Benfica's ass in the Portuguese league. Honestly.
Wow.
So yeah, I think good luck to you guys. I say good luck, but I actually wish all the best to you guys.
But after you win the Europa League, good luck until you win the Europa League.
Yeah.
After that,
win the Europa League.
Please lose every game.
Spend some more money. Do what you do. Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I hope you guys finish 15th next season. Just please win the Europa League for us, please.
Exactly. For us, Fabio, from an Arsenal point of view, I guess it's all or nothing, like that documentary.
I
think for us next season,
all or nothing, right?
For Arteta, it's all or nothing, because I know the club's gonna go big in the summer. They've already bought Subamendi, great player. We'll see how he adapts in the Premier League, but I think it's all or nothing for Arteta, and I think it's all or nothing from a trophy point of view, especially league. It's second place minimum again. It has to be. We want first place, obviously, but it's second place minimum. It can be second place minimum if he has a FA Cup, a Champions League, or something else.
No,
it has to be a trophy and second place minimum.
I don't care about Carabao Cup, man.
Yeah, I also don't care about Carabao Cup, but if you're in it, if you get to a semi-final Carabao Cup, you kind of want to go the whole way, which I thought was what we were going to do this season, which we didn't.
You guys, then you play this is our problem. We don't have a big squad. We play all the same players in every game. Carabao Cup, we want to play, and then they get injured, and then look what happened. We screwed.
Yeah.
Play the kids. Play the kids, man.
And that's where he needs to learn about that. I don't know if he has. I think he
Yeah.
has trust issues, to be
Yeah.
honest. So
Listen,
he needs to
Yeah.
learn that as a young manager. He needs to learn that. Otherwise, he's gonna find himself
yeah,
out.
man.
Yeah.
Because that's football. That definitely is football. The club will want to change. They'll probably even get another manager who's a bit more experienced. Who knows? But the opportunity is still there for Arteta, I feel. And I look at the players. The players want to play for him still, which is also a great thing. And I just hope for a season where, you know what, fuck the refs. They can be
Yeah.
against us. I don't care.
No.
I just want a season where we don't have the
Injuries.
frequency of injuries that we've had this season. It's been
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Then you need to rotate players, and that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna
Exactly.
for now say second minimum, because for me, until we see what we do in the summer, right now for me the next season is gonna be the same. My only expectation is that he does better in the FA Cup. For me, the league and Champions League with this current squad, I don't think we're good enough to win it yet. I think he's overachieving with the players he has, man. So for me, top 4 next season, hopefully wins the FA Cup, cool. But that's gonna change if we sign the players we need to sign this summer. If we do that, then I'm gonna be like, we gotta win the league, let's push. But let's see, when we do our end of season review with the Ghana Arsenal fan, coming up, guys, in 2 weeks. Kill Bill, I think, will be back by then, depending if we win or lose. Mr. Magaya, and then we can see.
Depending if we get Champions League.
No, man, I think we're 99%. People were stressing about this.
We actually. Yeah, we can actually lose against Newcastle and beat Southampton, and we'll be fine.
I think even if we draw,
we might not be second.
I think even if we draw with Southampton,
we'll be in the fifth. 5 places.
Yeah, man.
One of the 5 places.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And Aston Villa, I think, is also gonna be there, man, because they're playing Man United and Spurs. So, guys, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you, Alex, for being a reasonable Man United fan. I expected the worst from you, but you did well.
Yeah, listen, I have to hold myself back and be kind of civil, okay? But don't worry, Fabio. When it's up close and personal with just me and you, I will let rip, okay?
Please don't let it rip. Send it to Harry Maguire.
Okay, guys.
All right.
No, thanks a lot for having me on. Yeah, it was a great talk.
A great pleasure, man.
Awesome, Alex. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, that's até a próxima, né? Ciao.
Até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.